What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Vogel Veil. Today we are going to be talking about a recent controversy on Twitter regarding MrBeast and popular YouTube creator Rosanna Pansino. On October 26th, Rosanna came out and said that she was fed up with the way that some creators were treating her behind the scenes and made a very long post about a situation she had in a MrBeast video. You see, Rosanna participated in the Creator Games, which is a game show type thing that MrBeast does where he gives a large sum of money to creators to distribute to their fans. She had participated in the first two and was excited to participate in the third one. But apparently the third one had some behind the scenes shenanigans. I talk like I'm 80. Anyway, she goes on to say in this post, and I guess I'll leave it here on screen. You can pause and read it yourself. Okay, good. She goes on to talk about how apparently in the editing room, Jimmy decided to change up the actual conclusion of the video. In the video posted, it seems like creator Lorray, Logan Paul, and Zach King are the top three. She goes on to explain that in reality, it was her, Quackity, and Zach that were the actual top three. And she talks about how she feels kind of slighted that in the editing room, they decided to put forward other bigger creators that maybe appeal to MrBeast's audience more in favor of actually telling the truth of what happened. She also goes on to allude that Jimmy did this perhaps out of a discrimination of sexism after finding out that Quackity was edited out as well and talked about it a year prior. I know she has talked about maybe there being a race element, I believe. And again, this is not my personal opinion of these creators. This is just me summarizing the post itself. In the post, she said, I placed third, Quackity placed second, and Zach placed first. That is what actually happened, despite Jimmy, editing out the only female in the top three. I was proud of what I had achieved. And she should. She made third place. And as you can suspect, because this was posted on Twitter or X, everybody is either reporting on it objectively, like Pop Crave, the objective, really hard-hitting news site, or people like Jake Lucky, who are reporting on it with a little bit less of an objective tone, saying, guys, I was in a MrBeast video and I placed 23rd, but in the video they put me 25th. The only thing that matters is the person who got first and the money went to charity, but I'm quite upset I wasn't included in the video and more. We should cancel him. Now, you can see on the screen, I'm a little bit of a reply guy on Twitter. I like to have conversations on the platform, and I felt that this assessment of the situation was maybe a little bit of a straw man, but if you want to see that, go to my Twitter. You can check that out. And other people in the replies are reacting on varying sides of the spectrum, either memeing it or showing their support or just giving hatred towards Rosanna. Creators like Cinna saying that they are unsure that there is a sexist element to this because, I mean, Quackity was also discriminated against, and trying to equivocate then race later feels a little bit less genuine, which is a valid take. She goes on to point out that falsely accusing someone of sexism oftentimes does more damage than it does actually helping the cause of feminism or discrimination against gender. People like Nicole Moon YouTube saying, proud of you for speaking up. So sorry this happened to you. 1.7K likes. People like Screamy Pumpkin saying, I love how at the end of the day, it's hide and go seek drama. And there are tons more comments, retweets, tweets that are subtweeting the situation as jokes along that whole spectrum. And you have people that don't like MrBeast saying like, wow, people are riding MrBeast's dick. He's not gonna put you in a video. And you have people that like MrBeast, not necessarily riding his dick. I mean, I'm sure there are people, but anyway. You also have people, you know, supporting him and saying like, no, I think this just made it a better video. And then you have people kind of not even on that spectrum, just being like, no way, MrBeast videos are fake. He didn't actually put on a real life Squid Games. And as much as I think a lot of these tweets all across the spectrum can be funny, some of them are kind of dumb, I do think that there is something to be said for Rosanna's post. One, this is something that happened to Rosanna, something that she feels negatively about. I know a lot of people are complaining like, oh, it happened a year ago. Why are you talking about it now? But in the case of people that have issues with creators or are victims of a wide array of things, typically coming out later, that tends to happen, so I think that's pretty dismissive. But I think there is a problem in the content space with snubbing, if you will. For the sake of the video, the definition of snubbing is just like, not represented correctly, or some people would say like screwed over, although that's more of a negative connotation than it's typically meant. Basically, it just means you did something and a creator is misrepresenting you in some way. I think that exists very much in the content space currently. I think it's the worst it's ever been because right now on YouTube and on Twitch, content that is as juiced as possible, as higher attention, as big boom wow is the content that is getting pushed. So in the case of this MrBeast video, if there was a way to make it to where Logan Paul, one of the biggest YouTubers, is seen as the possible top 3, I can see why he would do that. If you watch the video, there was like a little bit of controversy because I think it was Lorray fell asleep and didn't follow some of the rules, so he gets kicked out. To put a bunch of like the little nuances in videos sometimes feels like to the creator that it's ruining the video. It makes it less quality than their original thought process. And I mean, if they rented a stadium and there's $1 million on the line, I can see the motive of wanting to make the video as good as you possibly can, to maximize the content as much as you possibly can. But that being said, it doesn't invalidate the experience that Rosanna had. She's right to feel like she got snubbed. I mean, she got 3rd place, got misrepresented as 4th, which I get a lot of people are saying that's not a big deal. I mean, to her as a personal achievement, it probably is. But then making it seem like she was in top 3 and putting another creator that she had beat out in the top 3 for the sake of clickbait feels a little weird. It feels disingenuous. I think the reason this matters to a lot of people is because MrBeast is somebody who, for the most part, has been seen by many and is widely hailed as a pretty genuine creator. I personally think that MrBeast comes off like he's a pretty nice guy. I mean, he gives a lot of money to people. He has a whole separate channel where he does philanthropy efforts. And I know there's controversy around that, on the fact that he's making content about it. But at the end of the day, MrBeast does a lot of good things. But I'm also not going to sit here and just say, oh, because he does these good things, MrBeast is completely devoid of criticism. Even in making this video, I'm worried about my words being misconstrued by any creator and that casting a judgment on me, because it has happened many times in the past. And I think that at its core is what Rosanna is trying to call out here. She did use maybe language that implied a sexism or discriminatory element at the end of the day. And me personally, I don't see it. That being said, I don't know the full story. I'm not going to say it didn't happen. I will offer support to creators that feel slighted, and if proven otherwise, I'll move on. That just tends to be my reaction towards any sort of controversy where there is a possible victim and somebody who did something against. But I do believe that in this case, she's calling to light something that happens in the content space, and that is kind of snubbing creators or what actually happened in favor of the view. And maybe this is where I stand on my soapbox. I don't like making content where the content isn't totally honest and genuine. And there are creators that are very much like me, and then there's a bunch of other creators who believe it is just content is king. At the end of the day, no matter what you gotta do to edit a video to make a good idea, if you gotta fake something, if you've gotta change it a little bit in editing, let's give it the best we can do so that the video performs as well as possible. And I wouldn't even necessarily say that in most cases that's wrong at all. But in the case like this, where it hurt somebody, where they weren't notified, you could see where maybe Jimmy then at the end of the day should, if he's gonna make these decisions in the editing room, notify the creators, make sure it's okay so that nobody feels snubbed at the end of the day. Now, do I think MrBeast is getting canceled? No. Do I think Rosanna is trying to cancel MrBeast? No. I think people are blowing it out of proportion. Rosanna said it herself. She's experienced a lot of stuff like this in her many years on YouTube as a platform. I think she's fed up, and this one example, probably the most recent example, although I can't speak for her, with MrBeast, is definitely gonna call the attention she needs. Maybe she's notified MrBeast and he's gonna make a statement. Maybe he's totally blindsided and this is gonna become Twitter drama. But at the end of the day, I do think she's accomplishing her goal of calling to light something that happens on the back end that not many people know about that can end up hurting people. And maybe this results in a positive change in people trying to make more genuine content, people trying to notify creators and make sure that they don't feel snubbed or invalidated. I think that that is very important. Or, hey, it could go back to exactly the way it was. It could be thrown in the ether. Jimmy could reply with a meme and everybody could be like, lol W, lol W. I don't know. It's the internet. The positive thing probably won't happen. It'll probably be the negative thing, but I'm quite the pessimist or realist. I don't know. If you like this video, which is pretty much a nothing burger, again, it's Vocal Veil. I'm sitting on a fence. That is a joke, by the way. This is not to imitate Ludwig. Obviously, he does the thing, but we could both call ourselves imitation Philip DeFranco. Let me know your thoughts on the situation in the comments down below. If there's any updates, please notify me there. I'll try and keep up and reply with people as I see there's a conversation available. And that being said, I am sick from TwitchCon last week, so I'm gonna go take a bunch of Mucinex and pass out. So